In the famous words of Ferris Bueller, life moves pretty fast. If you don't slow down and look around, you just might miss it. I've started to kind of think about this YouTube. I've probably gone through 10 years of my life, if not more, in like an hour and something. That's how fast it seems to go by. There were so many more things throughout that decade that happened that I think develops who I am. I I wouldn't know where to start. I was thinking, I haven't even talked about the hillbillies. Jesus Christ, those people from my old neighborhood when I was young. That's literally what we called them, the hillbillies. The lady who had lived in the house passed away. I guess they came into some money in Alabama. They bought her house, and it was very beautiful when she lived there. They moved in, they chopped down the tree, the grass died, they had used tires in their yard, and it was nuts, man. The porch was falling down, windows were broken. They were just the whole neighborhood called them hillbillies. They were a bunch. And one of the brothers, if I remember right, his name was James, used to play death metal in the garage. People didn't even know what death metal was back then. I was like, whoa. And it was tripped out. They threw dead fish on my porch once. And of course, obviously, there was rivalries between the hillbillies, me, and everybody else in the neighborhood, but they had went fishing the day before and threw dead fish on the porch. And for many years, I thought, nah, that's because of what happened with their cat. And one July, me and my mom were going to the beach, and we came out. My mom looks at me and she says, "Adam, don't turn around. Don't turn around." And I was like, "What?" Of course, like a schnook, I turn around. There's their cat, smashed, eyeballs hanging out, skull crushed, just laying on her car. Blood everywhere. You could see it smeared it up and down 2, 3 cars, left this cat all mutilated. It was horrible scene. It's me and my mom are looking at it. Here she comes. Came out the front door. You're like, uh-oh, here it comes. She comes on the stairs. You didn't notice anything. She gets in her car. Me and my mom are looking at each other like, oh no. She starts her car, and then I think all of a sudden she looked out the windshield. This lady starts screaming, freaking out. The police show up. It was anarchy, man. So I always thought that's why they thought they threw the dead fish, because they probably thought I did that to their cat. That was one of the rumors I heard. There's no way I could do that to a cat. And, years go by. Years. And then it turns out one day I'm standing on the front porch with a guy from the neighborhood getting some weed, smoking a joint. Obviously, it's a long time later. The hillbillies didn't even live there anymore. And the dude says to me, he goes, "I remember this area. There used to be a blue dumpster over there." And I was like, yeah, because they were tearing down the neighbor's house. So there was a blue dumpster out in front of my house. And he goes, "Yeah, I remember this. I had a bad experience over here one 4th of July." And I was like, what? He tells me that one 4th of July, he was out partying and getting drunk, tripping on acid, and he went driving down the street and felt a thump and, kept going. And it was a couple hours later, he's all tripping on acid. He goes back to see what the thump was. I guess their cat was coming out from behind the dumpster, and he ran it over. because he was tripping on acid. He said he took this cat and he smeared it up and down cars and played with it and left it there. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And he was like, no. I'm like, dude, you left it on the lady's car who owned the cat. He was like, no way. I was like, dude, they thought I did that for years. He was like, no way. I'm like, yeah, they even threw dead fish on my porch. Then, years later, man, I'm trying to find that friend, Billy Borowski, who would live next door. I found his brother. I found their sister, all on Facebook. It was good. That's a good resource to find old friends. So, I'm talking to Jason one night, and I'm actually going over that story about the hillbillies. And he's like, Adam, that's not why they threw the dead fish on your porch. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because he was there back then. He was my next door neighbor. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, you don't remember? He goes, Adam, you let a whole bucket of snakes go in their house. And I was like, I did? And he was like, yeah, you don't remember? And then it popped in my head. He's right. Oh my God. I spent one day catching gardener snakes. We had gardener snakes all over by my house. Like I said, I lived by railroad tracks, and I just kept catching them and putting them in a bucket. At one point when I was a kid, we'd catch them and sell them to a place called Animal Kingdom. But we caught a bunch, and I did it. I put them through their mail slot in their house. I thought they didn't know who did it. And they probably didn't. They just had suspected me. That was why they threw the dead fish on my porch. Man, I was like, holy cow, Jason, I totally forgot about that. It's kind of funny how the mind works. I was a deviant kid. I got into a lot of mischief. I think it taught me over time not to do things like that, because you're a child. What do you know? You don't know too much. You're just doing things, and then when you do them, you see the consequences. You know not to do them again, or you do them again because you enjoy that. I did not enjoy causing and inflicting misery on others. I definitely didn't. I broke windows, stole things, set fires. Oh my God. The time I set my room on fire, that was a good one. Man. Oh, that's one of those stories I'm gonna have to maybe tell it another. I'll try to get it. So, I came home from school. We had radiators, and I wanted to be a little warmer, so I lit a yard candle in my bedroom and warmed up my hands and warmed myself up. And I actually got myself warm, blew out the candle. I actually went into the kitchen. I got an ice cream sandwich. I sat down on the couch, and I was actually watching Chilly Willy. When I look in my room, and there's like a flicker that I've never seen before, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? I walk in my room, the whole fucking bed's on fire. I'm freaking the fuck out, man. I grabbed shoes, I started beating it and pounding it out. Dude, I mean, we had many pairs of shoes, believe it or not. I burnt up probably 20 pairs of shoes, but I put the fucking fire out. Beds charred, walls torched, I mean, ceilings all black. I'm fucked. So, I did. I got the wallpaper out, the paint, and then while my mom was at work, I wallpapered, painted, I tiled the floor, I made my bed. Then my mom gets home that day, we go to the store, and when we're coming home, walking up the stairs, she goes, there was just fire in the neighborhood. And I was like, what? She goes, it smells like fire. We opened the front door, and she goes, Adam, what did you burn? And I was like, I didn't burn nothing. What are you talking about? She walked in my room, and she goes, you set your room on fire. And I was like, No, because it was so clean. She knew. My room was never that clean. That was my mistake. When she saw that I had wallpapered, tiled, painted, made my bed clean, it was the bed was charred. I could never sleep in it again. This is why I got bunk beds. She actually didn't even punish me. Trust me, I learned my lesson not to play with fire. Jesus. Gotta burn the whole fucking house down. Well, needless to say. See, that's the lesson. Don't play with fire. I'll see you next time.